Hi. After several false starts, it is Sunday, March 30th, 2025, and welcome to the first Massachusetts Pirate News of 2025. Um, yeah, we had an episode we recorded um, with at the beginning of the year because it was a new year and thus new items were now in the public domain, and that didn't we that didn't come out well, and then we recorded another thing and the audio got messed up. So while I'm in the middle of getting my system set up so that we could even potentially live stream these, go back to that. That would be lovely. Um, we're going to try something different. We're using our Big Blue Button instance, and you won't see mine or Joe's smiling countenances, but you'll see the things we're talking about. So we'll see how this goes, and hopefully in 2 weeks we will be able to live stream or at least record something better. So with that, want to give you some administrative stuff. Our meetings, you might have seen them, are every Sunday now at 8 p.m. Sorry, every other Sunday, so not today, obviously, March 30th, but it will be next week, next Sunday. So by all means, you're welcome to join us. There's information on the sidebar. You can see that little member meetings thing text there. You can just click and you can see the agendas as well. So we've got a bunch of things that we're working on, including a June conference. There'll be a poll about dates for that. We'll be at the Boxborough Fifers Day and tabling there in June. And with any luck, we'll have a table at the Boston Dyke March also in June. So if you'd like to help us with that, with any of our surveillance camera mapping efforts, or teaching people how to protect their privacy online, seems so important now, please, by all means, contact us, info@masspirates.org. And if you want to run as a pirate, do contact us and we'll help you with that process. Most of the town elections, it's getting past the date. There's still open towns. You can contact your town clerk or their website for the schedule. But city elections are also coming up, and of course, never too early to plan for state rep and state senate elections, and even potentially U.S. House of Representative in 2026. So, Joe, you wanted to give us an update and had some thoughts about what recently happened in Thailand and Myanmar?
Yes, and just a quick shout back to the planning for next year. Uh, I'm actually really excited I'll be running again, so that's a great point. But my heart definitely goes out to all the people over in Southeast Asia who have lost their lives. They're saying the death toll is over 1,600 now, and I really have just been thoughts and prayers have been going out, and hopefully um, they can get the aid that they need. I know that they've declared a state of emergency, clearly so, and I can only imagine what catastrophes and heartaches are happening out there right now. So I hope they find all their loved ones.
Thanks, Joe. Also, I saw that the pro-democracy, anti-junta rebels have have instituted a ceasefire uh, in order for people to focus on getting people out of the rubble and taking care of people. Unfortunately, the military junta doesn't seem interested in doing that. So Go pro-democracy forces. Speaking of democracy, we have this thing in the United States. It's called freedom of speech. And if you look at the Constitution, there's nothing, this only applies to citizens. Indeed, with Citizens United, anyone can create a corporation in the United States with money from outside the United States, from people who are not United States citizens, and they can spend that on issue advocacy. So functionally, we treat the First Amendment as if everybody has it. However, as we've seen, in this case, in my own Somerville and neighboring Medford, uh, uh, I'm going to try not to mess up her name, but
The young
Rümeysa,
lady.
Rümeysa Öztürk was picked up recently in Somerville. You might have seen the video that went around early in the morning. She's just minding her own business, and like 8 ICE agents come out and just pick her up. And now she's in Louisiana because Secretary of State Marco Rubio thinks that her having an op-ed is somehow a threat to our country. And you look at this op-ed, and it's basically, hey, President of Tufts, don't ignore these Senate resolutions, Tufts Community Union Senate resolutions in support of the Palestinians and their plight in Gaza. And she used her First Amendment right. So if Trump can go and pick people up um, in order to throw them out for exercising their First Amendment rights, for exercising their freedom of speech, then he can literally do that to anybody, especially if there's no due process involved. He could just say, you're not really an American citizen, and send you to a prison in El Salvador. What do you think, Joe?
Such a slippery slope. I mean, isn't the Second Amendment in order to protect the First Amendment? Just saying. But the it's such a slippery slope that this is going down, and it's only going to get worse if this continues. So, from what I understand, this person was here studying legally, and just because they had an opinion that didn't really mesh well with the current administration, immediately gets kicked out. And it's not right. It's not fair, and there is no due process. So, um, very interested to see how this is going to play out because I can only see it as a ginormous legal snafu.
Yeah, I mean, she's a Fulbright scholar. I mean, I did come across this crowdfunding. We'll put a link in the description if that's something that you'd like to give to. Um, haven't it just came across the social media, and so I don't know much about it. It came from people who uh, are concerned, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, from what I
So
understand, real quick, she's here legally.
that's correct. She's a
So,
Fulbright scholar. So yes, she's here legally.
so 100% legally, and so she's still. That's what makes this such a snafu. That's what makes this such a terrible situation because she's here legally. So why is this happening? You know, being able to
But
stand up against
to be
government
clear
is.
though, sorry, go Joe.
I was going to say part of standing up against government and standing for the rights of the individual is part of the American experience. And she stands up against government for the right of the individual. And she's like, that's not American. Out. It's like, what? Like, bad government. If I had a spray bottle big enough, I'd be spraying America right
uh, and just to point out, um, as I said, the First Amendment knows no bounds. So whether you're here with the proper paperwork or not with the proper paperwork, you still have the First Amendment right. Period. If you're just visiting, I mean, I remember my family and I were visiting country in Europe, and our first day there, we ran across a marriage equality march, and well, we're from Massachusetts, so we joined in, and if what Rubio and Trump want to do was the law of the land in that country, we could have been stuck on a plane and sent who knows where, just for being tourists exercising our First Amendment rights in that relevant country. So, where they don't call it First
Uh,
Amendment, but whatever. They have their own
Steve
history of
is not
censorship.
here. Sorry for interrupting. Steve is not
No
here,
worries.
but I have to use his words. Um, if somebody wants to politically open their mouth and insert foot, we are not ones to step in their way. So, you know.
So our last story of today, you might have heard. Well, Joe, do you want to give us an update on it? Do you want to cover
I
that?
mean, there's been a lot of coverage on this. This is about the Houthi plant attack plans that was leaked on Signal, and from our point of view, this is not. Everyone knows that the White House leaked these plans and put these plans with the journalist on that, and we'll put a link
Well, they
on.
didn't intentionally. Just to be clear, they didn't intentionally plan to do
Yeah,
that. I
I
wouldn't
don't
call
think
it
it
a
was the
leak.
fault.
It's like,
I,
go on. Sorry.
I would say it's a leak because it was something that wasn't intended, so it did leak out. However, it is in no way Signal's fault. Signal is one of the best encryption tools. Um, they're one of the best ones that we can audit to make sure that they stay encrypted. It's almost the way that they're set up. It's very, very difficult to hack because of the way it's structured. And so, I just wanted to say for all those who are using Signal out there, Signal is still a very, very safe tool for sharing information, sharing data, especially confidential stuff, things that are you don't want shared with anybody else but who you're sending it to. Signal is phenomenal for that. This was not a failure on Signal's fault. This was a failure on those who are organizing the communication. It was a user error, not the software error, not the encryption data error. So, as a pirate, and we're all about the crypto parties and keeping your data safe and everything like that, Signal is still a phenomenal tool for you to be using. So, your thoughts on that, Jamie?
Absolutely. We'll link to it below. The Guardian has an article about what Signal is, and of course, we'll link to the Signal page so you can go and get it for yourself. I mean, Signal is useful. It allows you to do voice, text, video chats. It can go and you can say, I want this to disappear in 4 hours, or in a week or a month, or something like some time period, which is both useful from a security standpoint, but also useful from a individual data retention. I don't know about you. I know my phone has like far too many text messages that are just carried over and are archived, and maybe I really don't need those things. And if you just have an app that deletes it, it just goes away. I don't need to think about it. Um, then it keeps the data in my phone clearer. But I mean, in terms of what these schmucks were doing, I have to say, they're paid by the government. They should be using government tools that have the proper archiving, because those text messages are our data, and it should be archived according to the relevant national security directives. Um, and there's actually some control over who gets on those lists. You know, make sure that it doesn't get into the hands of Atlantic Atlantic editors, or foreign governments, or local corporations, or whatever. It should just be
Now,
it
real
should
quick,
be there and protected. Sorry, Gojo.
I apologize. I just wanted to say
No, no,
real
please.
quick, this is not a sponsored ad. We're not getting paid for sharing this information. The reason why we want to bring this up to the public is because simply it is a phenomenal tool to keep you safe as the individual. And so privacy, uh, transparency for the government, but privacy for the individual. And Signal is just one of those free tools that you can use that really protects the individual. So, um, just something that we wanted to share, make sure that people knew that this is still a phenomenal tool. It's a phenomenal way. It's open source, so you can go and check to um, see if anyone has tried to compromise your information because of the way it's structured. So, just one of those tools that is just really meant for the people and should be used by just about everyone, just the way it's structured. So,
And even better, it's free. Though you should give them a donation. You know, they do need money. So,
so
thank you for that, Joe. And so with that, we shall say good night. And hopefully it will be live streaming in 2 weeks. But we'll have links to our upcoming events. And again, our next meeting will be 8 p.m. a week from today. So if you'd like to participate and chart the direction of the Massachusetts Pirate Party, by all means, come and join us. So with that, thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody who's watching, or probably more like listening. We hope you have a wonderful week and stay warm.
and also, if you are watching this, this is our new format. If you like it, if you can just share a comment, we do check them. So comment to tell us that if you like this format, we'll do it in this format from now on. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great night.